Well, welcome to another edition of Christian Answers. My name is Pastor Jeff Short, and today we're going to be talking about the MTV Music Awards 2016 and the acts, the performers that appear on the MTV VMA Awards this year. And some of the performers that were there: Brittany Spears, Beyoncé, and so forth. And we have to say, and I have to say, that if you watch that MTV Awards, you are going to be offended if you're a Christian. And you're going to be offended because what is taking place on the screen in front of you is nothing less than an old-fashioned burlesque show. This is the kind of thing that you would see in some kind of a den of iniquity back in the old days, some kind of a strip show even, where you would have strippers perform in front of men. Or you would see these kind of strip shows like pole dancing, so-called pole dancing, where you go into these bars and girls are walking around naked or half naked, dancing before men and for the entertainment of men. And if you look at the MTV Awards this year, you see that same scenario played out in front of you. Now, I didn't watch the MTV Awards. I only saw little clips of it. I decided I don't want to watch that. That is not what I want to spend my time doing. I don't want to spend my life, I don't want to spend my time wasting my time and my life looking at stuff and seeing things take place that really get me upset. And so basically, you know what's going to be taking place at an MTV award. These entertainers are going to push things to the edge, and then every year they keep pushing things over the edge a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And so the reports are this year that these entertainers have really gone over the edge. And I've just got done listening to some updates and reports from the Canadian blogger Mario. And he goes by the name TVC, the Vigilant Christian. And he has been doing some updates and some reports on his television show. And I want to show some of those clips of Mario, the correspondent in Canada, his comments, because I think they're right on. You know, you don't normally in today's society hear someone just break it down, lay it right on the table, and say, look, this is why I'm offended as a Christian by this kind of activity, by this kind of event. But he does. He breaks it down. He tells it like it is. And as Christians, we need to begin to tell it like it is more often, because I think often we are a little bit timid. We're a little bit standoffish. We don't want to cause problems. We don't want to cause division in the world. We don't want to bring tension into a situation. And when somebody's describing, for example, at work, if somebody's talking about, hey, did you see the MTV Awards? Our tendency is to maybe keep silent because we don't want to say anything bad. We don't want to say anything offensive. We don't want to cause offense and that kind of a thing. But what's happening is we, by our silence, are letting people get the impression that it's okay, that this kind of garbage, and that's what it is, garbage, this immoral, sensual, this like stripper mentality, this kind of burlesque show mentality is going uncriticized. It's not being critiqued. It's not being criticized from a biblical Christian standpoint, and even from a logical, reasonable standpoint. And Mario here, our blogger correspondent from Canada, is laying it right out there and saying, look, this is the way it is. We shouldn't be watching this garbage. People shouldn't be encouraging this kind of a performance to take place, and he does a great job of doing it. And so I want to show to you some of the updates and some of the clips that he has produced in response to the MTV Awards. Now, this is something that every parent should be aware of. They should not be letting their teenage daughters wear this kind of stuff, or even encourage them to buy the records of these artists or get involved in any of that kind of music scene. They should discourage their children from thinking that this is okay, because it's not okay. It's not acceptable behavior. When you have grown excuse me, when you have grown adults parading around on a stage in front of thousands of people at the live event, and then millions of people across the U.S. and tens and hundreds of millions across the world, half naked, gyrating in vulgar positions, sexual innuendos, all kinds of perverted symbolisms, just satanic, even evil in many respects. Past years at the MTV Awards, they've actually had satanic symbols, Madonna giving a pentagram, and all kinds of just highly offensive to the Christians. Now, it seems to be okay to offend the Christians and people who believe in the Bible, but it's not okay to say anything wrong against what they're doing. Well, let's say something wrong against what they're doing. Let's criticize what this is. This is offensive pornography. This is pornography, light porn coming into the homes, children watching it. In fact, teenagers are the main consumers of the MTV content, and they're being fed light pornography. And we need to call it like it is. We need to expose this. We need to let parents know about it. We need to let Christians know about it, so they can say, look, this is not acceptable. This is decadent. This is perverted. And we need to call it for what it is. And pastors in the pulpit, you need to not be afraid. Just say what it is. This is unacceptable behavior. Tell people this is not normal. It's not okay. It's not something that we should just shrug our shoulders at. This is something we should say, this is not good content, and discourage people from watching it, or even discourage people from airing this. We should tell the FCC, look, this is perverted pornography. Why do we have it on television for young people to watch? But anyway, I'm going to roll a few clips from Mario, the correspondent in Canada, who's done an excellent job on exposing this. And we're going to watch that. Then I'm going to come back at the end and make a few more comments. So let's watch.
Hey everyone, I pray you're doing well. It's my first vlog that I'm going to be recording for the 2016 VMAs. And we have Ariana Grande here that's about to perform with Nicki Minaj. And just like you would normally expect from the Video Music Awards of Masonic, Satanic television, what is happening here is women being objectified. Now, Ariana Grande and Nicki Minaj, I believe they performed at another one way back, her song Anaconda. So just continuing the sexualization of women. I don't know if you saw the image. They're literally dancing between two stripper legs, prostitute legs, on each side of the stage over here. So this is just really alarming to see that this is a type of media that's consumed and praised and glorified in today's culture. And women don't see a problem with this. You know, this is actually an attack on women. You know, when women behave in this fashion, they believe themselves to be empowered, that this is somehow freedom, that they're overcoming the boundary or the limitations that men put on them. No, this is exactly what men want, is, well, fallen, disgusting men. They want to just use a woman as eye candy, to lust after her, not seeing her true character, not looking within her heart to see what it is the woman is. So these type of role models are satanic to women because they actually destroy true womanhood, true femininity. You're better, okay? Look at her coming out here. I mean, you don't even need to look at it. She's half dressed, basically showing everything. Okay, women, you know, be modest, be someone who respects your body, You don't need to be idolizing this garbage here and actually think that this is somehow good for you. You know, God created you to be beautiful internally with your virtue, okay? Not about sensuality and sexuality, sitting there with your cleavage out, like, what's up? Okay, being very masculine and everything like that, and just degrading yourself. This is women who are encouraging other women to degrade themselves and are attacking what true femininity is. But of course, that's what we would expect from Masonic television that is destroying mankind, destroying all things virtuous, all things good, all things godly. And I know the majority of people are going to watch this vlog and be like, this guy's crazy. And you want to know why? Because the great majority of the world is conditioned satanically. One of the things I've done on this YouTube channel is demonstrate the satanic media and influence. And I grew up with this. I thought it was cool to be the male version of this, the bad boy, you know, the fake wannabe gangster fool, the plays girls. But even as a men, we need to recognize that we're under attack through media. It's not cool to be a bad boy, okay? I don't care how brainwashed you are. It's just logically not what is good for us. So I wanted to go ahead and make my first vlog. Stay tuned, guys. I'm going to cover more of this, just dissecting, analyzing, and exposing the media that we consume as a culture. It really does display the state of humanity, that humanity is falling consistently, generation after generation, into deeper levels of depravity, deeper levels of darkness, and it's really a shame. Have a blessed and wonderful day, and stay tuned for more MTV satanic media vlogs exposed. Hey everyone, I pray you're doing well. This is my second vlog here for the MTV VMAs. And once again, we have Kanye West enlightening the dumbed down masses. This is kind of like the philosophy leader of today's generation. One of the things I've talked about on this YouTube channel is there is a deliberate agenda to dumb people down. America is going into a place where it's crazy. The options for president is Trump, Hillary. The United States is collapsing, and we see that everywhere. And last time he was up here, he was talking about he wanted to run for the president of, that would be 2020, I believe. And that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, look at the two candidates this year, okay? This is very probably him preparing himself to run for 2020, because there is a dumbing down, there's an idiocracy that's being developed in the United States of America. Do yourself a favor and actually watch the movie. It's called Idiocracy. And what it actually shows is kind of a truthful reality that's taking place. And it's very sad what is happening in America. And the movie is about a man who goes and is brought to the future. He's frozen and ends up in the future, and instead of humanity being progress and evolving and becoming more philosophical, intellectual, mature, wise, society has completely plummeted into pure and utter stupidity. And I mean, this is the idiocracy being formed right here. He's going off here, Kanye West style, you know, the narcissist, the egomaniac, the Kardashian lover. I mean, it's really sad. And he's being portrayed as someone who has intellect and is trying to lead the young masses of MTV fans. And many of his fans look up to him, think that he's a bright man. He's not bright. He's very lost. And it's very sad to see this type of narcissism and this type of egomaniac being elevated by society to a point where he is literally worshipped by the masses. So I wanted to go ahead and comment on that. It is really relevant to our world. The media that we have in our culture today is highly influential. That's the reason that I go ahead and expose it, is because literally people are going in front of television. And by the way, the TV, when you sit there on your couch and you're watching the TV, your brain actually ends up being hypnotized. You can actually do a scan of your brain and it puts you in a hypnotic state, making you more receptive to everything that it's saying. So this box here is conditioning and brainwashing the masses, and it is literally dumbing them down. So I want to just make a little statement here. Strive for wisdom. Strive for intellect. Don't be dumbed down. I mean, everyone at this award show is so dumbed down. I mean, I was almost sickened watching the pre-show. But like, I mean, like, look at your dress. It's so beautiful. You got a gorgeous dress, girl. You know, it's just like everyone's dumbed down. And this is the climax, the pinnacle of humanity today, is this MTV garbage. Really, it's a display of where we are, and it's a sad, sad thing. Rise up. Jesus Christ came to give wisdom, to give us truth, and give us the way. And this is not it. This is Satan's agenda. The reason I'm making these vlogs exposing the MTV Awards, if you haven't seen my previous videos, go to my channel, is because this is satanic programming. It's ungodly. It's leading us to all things ungodly. And one of the things that Satan is all about is foolishness. Foolishness. And stupidity, not using the intellect and the brain that God gave us. And this mushy garbage brainwash that people are letting themselves be completely entertained by and conditioned by is a poison, a toxic, a cancer to the human mind and the human spirit and soul. So please, rise up, seek God, seek wisdom, and seek truth. Hey everyone, I pray you're doing well. This is another vlog that I'm creating for the 2016 Satanic Video Music Awards, where they're parading all their satanic idols to the masses to be worshipped, and they just went out and brought Brittany Spears out. If you haven't seen my previous video, I'll just let you know quickly, it's a really sad thing that's occurring to Brittany Spears. They had her as a Mickey Mouse Club member. So as a little child, she was sold to the music entertainment industry. And if you don't understand what's going on in the entertainment industry, there is serious mind control. You remember the time Britney went crazy and shaved her head and all that stuff? Do you even know why she's doing that? Have you ever heard of Amanda Bynes breaking down Shia LaBeouf and star after star? Now the media, TMZ, and other people want you to believe that, oh, she's just crazy, she's on drugs and all this stuff, you know, Hollywood has pressure. So what she's doing is she's completely breaking down, okay? It's psychological breaking down that's occurring because she's a victim of mind control, and then she's used over here in front of the masses, and ultimately another sex icon. That's all this show has been so far, one after the other. Ariana Grande and Nicki Minaj come on to sexualize women. This is what satanic music television, MTV, Masonic television, wants to program in women. You know, I said it before and I'll say it again. Women, this is not, right here, getting dressed up and she's like humping the floor and dancing all sexual and stuff. That's not empowering to you, okay? You have been warped by media, by this stuff. Look, okay, this is objectification. They've got a man here and she's grinding up on him. This is somehow seen as empowering to women? No, what's empowering is having virtue, is having self-respect for yourself. You know, you're literally warped, okay, society. You are not progressing in a positive direction. We are getting more foolish, more selfish, more materialistic, less intellectual. We don't want wisdom. It's foolishness, okay? You think you're going to get empowerment for women from MTV? You think MTV is going to show you how women are to be respected, honored, and what a real woman who is empowered looks like? MTV. Come on, Jersey Shore, MTV. You're deluded, okay? If you actually think that, women. Literally, it's a mind control operation that has been so effective for so long that women, you've lost your minds. You don't even know what true empowerment is. It's not sensuality. It is not sexuality. A woman who honors herself, who dress modestly. All the girls are just coming out with their cleavage out, okay? There's nothing empowering about that in our society anymore. That's disempowering. You're making yourself eye candy for a bunch of men who slobber and lust after you, making you the object of their fantasies at night when they go home and pleasure themselves. That is empowering to you? That's disgusting, women, okay? And I'm sorry to be talking like firmly, but come on, time to smack some sense into society here. Time to wake up. There is a spiritual war going on. This is a spiritual thing that's occurring. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. This is what's called the Jezebel spirit. You can go ahead and study the Bible. There's a spirit that's called Jezebel, and it's that seductive woman. She's got that honey dripping down her lips, you know. The guys look at her, and, you know, they're driving their car, and all of a sudden she goes by, and they look, and they crash in the car in front of them because she's seducing them. You think seduction is empowering? So you want to seduce men with dressing provocatively, putting very little clothes on, putting yourself out there as an object of sensuality and lust and sexuality, and that is empowering to you today, okay? And trust me, I come from this. Men are not completely immune to this. We are just as much as women these days. Okay, men, it's all about being the bad boy. Yeah, I gotta be bad. I gotta be hard. Yeah, that's what's up. I got money. I got women. I have sex all the... Like, men, we're falling for this MTV stupidity just as much as women are. Okay, so it's time to wake up. Men and women all across the world, please, please. God gave us a brain. God gave us wisdom, I would hope, okay, that you would begin to use it and start to see the obvious that's right in front of your face. This programming, mind control operation, it needs to stop. Unplug yourself from this type of matrix, okay, that creates an illusion for you, this reality that's not true, turning you into bad boys and bad girls that ultimately just become selfish, self-absorbed, and really are not good people. Okay, let's strive for goodness. Let's strive for virtue. Okay, I used to follow this stuff. I remember when I was a teen, I had MTV, and that's all I would watch all the time. It was MTV, BET. I loved rap music. It warped my brain, okay? And then at some point, God saved me. He changed my life. Jesus Christ came into my life. I became born again. And that's not following a certain sect of Christianity. He literally spiritually transformed me. And then my eyes were open. And all that I started to see was the truth that was right there in front of me. That this stuff is warped. This stuff is not good. It's satanic. Okay? Satanic doesn't have to be with the little devil horns. No. Okay? Satan is a deceiver. He comes craftily. Okay? He's going to come after you in a subtle way. The Bible says that the serpent is the most subtle of all creatures. So that's how Satan's going to get you. Okay? So be on guard. Be vigilant. We're in a spiritual war. There is a satanic mind control operation that is dumbing down humanity, making us into fools, making us into selfish, lustful, lost human beings, just like the Bible said. Okay, so wake up, turn to Jesus Christ, stay tuned. I'm going to keep exposing this satanic award show. Tomorrow I'm going to do an effort to break down a whole thing. I'll give you the images, we'll go through it, maybe some occult symbols and stuff like that. But I just wanted to talk about in these vlogs the common sense of it all. That this is just on a common sense level, it's satanic, it's garbage. It's literal mankind just losing ourselves, guys. Come on. God gave us a brain. Let's go ahead and use it in Jesus' name. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Stay vigilant and fear no evil.
Okay, we're back after those reports by Mario in Canada. And as you can see, he made a lot of good, solid points on this subject. You have to agree that he made good, solid points. Now, you may not agree with every point that he made. You may disagree with most of what he said, but you have to agree that what he is saying from a Christian perspective makes sense. If you have the Word of God, the Bible, that teaches women and girls to dress modestly, which it does, and then you see that kind of stuff, you realize that is a direct violation of God's command. And so you want to discourage that kind of activity. You want to discourage especially Christian women and girls from doing anything remotely close to that, or dressing suggestively, or dressing pornographically. You want to discourage that. And that should be something that is taught in our churches all the time. Modesty, decorum, appropriateness. And also for the men, we want to discourage young men and men in general to not watch that content. We need to discourage them from any trace of pornographic material. I mean, that is pornographic. If you go back 100 years ago and that kind of content was displayed publicly, that would be cause for arrest. That would be indecent exposure. And you have to admit that over the years, the decades, the last few decades, there has been a whittling away at the standards of decency to the point where that kind of stuff can be on the airwaves and nobody says anything. You take that back 50 years ago, those people would be arrested, the producers would be arrested, and there'd be a whole big controversy, and it'd be a scandal that anyone would, even with any responsibility, would allow that kind of stuff to go on the airwaves. And now it's just a standard fare for these kind of cutting edge music events. And so as Christians, we need to say, look, we don't follow the standards of society. We don't follow what the pagan, sinful, carnal, worldly world is doing. We follow God, and we don't accept that. So we want to discourage young women and women from dressing immodestly and indecently and acting stuff like that. We want to discourage boys and men from even looking at that. We need to teach discipline and resistance and godliness in morality, and we need to go against the culture. And so I would encourage you to be counterculture in this. Resist when anybody's discussing the MTV Awards or anything like it. Put up the Christian defense of modesty. Say, look, we don't accept that kind of behavior. That is wrong. That is sinful. That is degrading. That is animalistic. So we need to criticize this stuff. And yeah, we're going to take the heat for doing that, but hey, we need to stand strong, stand with God, and be true to what God has called us to do. Well, I hope that's been helpful to you, and we'll see you back here next week on another edition of Christian Answers. God bless.